I mean, it's not like they went from Hanbin to a nobody, right? Fearless is just incredible on the hero. Hey, Hero 36 tomorrow. Don't want to miss that. We won't miss it because we'll be here. But you guys will be in the building, be watching. I mean, that's going to be an awesome moment.
I have no idea what to expect, actually. I'm ecstatic about that. Another battle for Texas. This time delivering, you know, this is what we've been asking for much of the year. What was it, a 3-0 and a 3-1?
Well, what's wild is, like, whenever in the past you mentioned, like, imagine a battle for Texas finals, or imagine you just kind of like...
Yeah, then we usually throw a wadded up piece of paper at each other and go back to actually doing our job.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, this is, for both of these franchises, such an important match, right? For the Outlaws, it's like this win, like, you know, we've always thought that the Outlaws could compete. This, like, officially means that they are in the conversation always, where the Dallas Fuel, I mean, since their inception, right? So much hype in Season 1, not a lot of living up to that hype. And then it's taken a while for them to get in this position and have that opportunity against the Outlaws.
Well, they marketed well, and then they got good players. That was the trick. Danteh down early here, so Edison is able to help Dallas sort of break free of this somewhat close hold. The Outlaws can't get started quite yet.
No, it's Edison takes a body shot there from Merritt, but he'll back up around the corner as it's time for the Outlaws trying to get something going. Danteh goes in really deep and trying to create some space. Nice bubble though to allow himself to get out.
Early right here from Pelican, he cancels it, realize there's still some more work to be done. Dallas, okay, they opt to give this ground. They don't expect Edison to get taken down, but as he retreats to the girls, he opens himself up there to Merritt.
And every time I feel like we're on with Merritt, like the shots he's hitting are extremely difficult ones. Like you think of the jump shot on Nepal, able to turn the corner as one of the ones that stands out so far as they take on top of big girls. I like this from the Dallas field. You don't want to give up that position.
Eddie's returned to the fray now, 5 versus 5 as Danteh cops a big hit. One way to announce your returning presence as a Sojourn player. And of course, Kitsune Rushers are now on deck for this next fight. We're about to have an injection of Octane. And both teams go for them, and Spark was able to find Merritt first. What a key pick. There's still the threat, of course, of the Reaper of Pelican, but Dallas seem unperturbed by any of that here.
And Houston actually uses their Kitsune Rush. They still have Danteh and Pelican still alive, so maybe they feel like they can win.
They don't get value out of Pelican being that as far as we can tell.
So Pelican is actually the one at that time who's not on top of big hurdles, and he's actually moving the payload. And I think what Dallas realizes is that he's not going to be able to make it back, or he's going to have to use like significant movement abilities to be able to make it back there, and they have a window to opportunity to attack. They decide to use their rush and push the issue, and it's a really nice play there from Dallas.
What a big result for the Fuel to sort of win a fight there, in which the volatility of Kitsune Rush is always a concern. Danteh, big hit on him. Edison connecting player after player. Man, this guy is accurate. Primal Rage coming in now. Whether he can escape that or not remains to be seen, but he's still healthy enough according to the scoreboard. And here's a sound barrier now for the Fuel. Fearless able to find Lastro before he has a chance to beat, but off the edge goes Sparkle. That helicopter's touching down in the wrong postcode.
Yes, Pelican's going to use his Death Blossom. That's going to be down near the payload. That doesn't result in anything. It looks like it's going to be Fielder and Chiyo is able to make it around the corner with their life. Don't think this is another opportunity, though, where Dallas can attack. Dallas with a pretty good defense. They get it under a minute, but it'll be the Outlaws who take checkpoint A.
Great moves from Lastro there, denying Sparkle any chance to avoid being instantly eliminated. And he keeps a sound barrier into this next fight.
The Outlaws, like, unintentionally end up keeping that sound barrier, right?
Yeah, Lastro, he didn't Ajax, right? But he didn't have a chance to use it.
And because Creative lives through a lot of that, he builds up another Kitsune Rush.
Merritt backing up here. Dallas probe a little bit. It's not enough to keep the Outlaws' heads down, though. Counter dive. You see Danteh go, but they've already lost Lastro. Edison was able to pick him out of the mix somehow. And Danteh making a rapid exit now as well. Chiyo will harry him along the way, but unlikely to be able to find the elimination on the Winston.
For a second there, I was like, you know, you lose Lastro, which obviously is your sound barrier, but you have to have an idea you have like a significant advantage, right, in terms of support ultimates. Like, could you have tried to bait them into that choke and use the Kitsune Rush and come back in with the Reaper? Might have been a possibility there.
All right, Creator realizes he needs to use his own rush here. Dallas get the jump on them. But the Outlaws are about to back away to a degree. Pelican turns around. Lastro, he got picked up by Sparkle. Pelican, I mean, just trying to get damage where he can, but it's not enough to secure any sort of kills, and now the rush has expired.
They get fearless, though.
Pelican trying to hang around on the cart. Chiyo's able to fire in. Dallas doing very, very good. They're making this extremely costly for the Outlaws to advance here. Danteh's having another go at it, this time with Primal.
And I think they're holding this sound barrier, the Outlaws, to kind of combat the sound barrier that was on the Dallas Fuel. But like, Lastro's had this when Chiyo is at like 40%. You probably would have actually got another beat at this time.
Primal there from Danteh, must be frustration. Unclear what he was trying to achieve there, as it looks like he was annoyed at getting booted back again. So he decides to get a jump reset with the use of that ultimate. Fearless doesn't have that luxury right now, but Dante's not putting a ton of pressure on him.
This is so weak. They have the sound barrier.
He's going to have Primal though. He's going to be able to bring this into the next fight. He might not even need it. Creative is brought down. Yeah, Fearless has to give up his life there, but Dallas got exactly what they wanted from that.
Well, now the Outlaws, they have that advantage in terms of that sound barrier. Again, I mean, this is a long time holding on to this beat. You kind of look at the rest of the game and how it's gone, you know, you would have missed out on maybe like 1-2 sound barrier.
Well, Pelican gets the information he wanted there. And Edison gets the kill instead. I know which one I'd take. Now he is committed.
Yeah, I mean, you've held on to this sound barrier for what has to be like 2 minutes at this point.
There's nothing going on for the Outlaws outside of Merit right now. He's actually... and was the only player with a final blow? I think Lastro got one right by environmental.
The Outlaws haven't had a great opportunity to use it, where they actually probably get value on everybody. But you would have had another one by now, right? So maybe there would have been something you could do. This will be the sound barrier. It's going to connect with everybody.
This has to be it for the Outlaws now. They'll start by moving the payload up, but how do they pressure the fuel to committing to a losing fight? And there may not be one! Creative's out of the picture already, and Merit is in trouble. He's getting shot from above as Fearless is rounding on him. Takes him down with the long-range taser, and now Pelican's forcing the raid from on the card. It's Lastro from the high ground, but what can be done about a problem like the fuel? The Outlaws get booted out of Route 66. Not a great start.
Yeah, they get checkpoint in, they get almost to the second point, but they get no use of their Kitsune Rush there at the end. You had numerous fights for a very long time. We didn't get used to your beats, so 2 really key ultimates. One, you just kind of like have at the end, you're not able to get it off, but the sound barrier for me, that is one that you'll probably look back and like, you know, there had to be a way to use that to be able to get another one, right?
And the numbers definitely don't tell a flattering tale for the Houston Outlaws. On the fuel side, Sparkle's actually taking a much more active role here and securing a lot of these final blows. 8-1 for the Reaper player on the fuel side.
I wonder if we see the Outlaws take a different approach on defense. Do you play up inside of that car like we saw the fuel do for a little bit? Do you play around the corner? I think teams still kind of trying to figure out what they want to do. Specifically, I think some teams feel more comfortable than others. Certain situations where it looks like the Outlaws will be playing close up. Take a look from Edison's POV here. This has to be the shot on a creative. Yeah.
Watch him line it up.
And I wonder, like, you know, it's creative and Merit there. Like, you don't even know who's the intended target.
He slides away from what could have been an insta headshot coming back the other way there. So the timing there captured by our replay op. They've been close. So no surprise, right? Outlaws take a close fight here.
On a pick at the beginning, maybe to hit a biotic grenade, force out the protection shoot, doesn't connect from fielder.
Edison's charged up here. He wants a bit of a flank. Oh, okay. The Outlaws, they're wise to it. Edison will have to take the more conventional route, it seems.
It's fine though from the Outlaws, right? If they're not getting payload progress and they're not really kind of forcing the issue and picking up kills, you can kind of play this 50-50 game all day.
Sparkle pretty exposed in the front line right now. Having to pull out Chiyo as well. A lot of damage being dealt here to the fuel. And Edison hasn't managed to find an opener quite yet. Well, there it is. Speaking into existence, I suppose. Chiyo's gone down for the fuel, but again, just trading here favors the attacker as they're so close to their own spawn. Now, losing Fearless is another issue entirely. Dallas want to keep slugging their way out of this first part of the map.
Yeah, no, that's a huge loss. If Danteh would have been able to live there, you had Primal, like maybe there's a world in which you continue to fight, but the Outlaws, they burned some time there at the start. They'll be able to come back in another fight here on top of the girls.
It's great. It's a good start. Again, it's going to take something a little bit more.
Chiyo scares you, man, when he pushes this far.
He's perpetually limit testing, I feel. Very, very aggressive. On the Zen, I mean, it's the same story, really, just in different ways. Kitsune Rush on board for both teams. You're gonna hear that a lot this weekend. Here come the Foxes. Creative able to dodge a rail that came his way. Perhaps good fortune. Danteh getting shredded a little bit there as he goes briefly face-to-face with Sparkle, who lets the Death Blossom go immediately. Danteh safe from it for the time being, but Merritt can't avoid the flailing fists of fury. The primal rage of Fearless brings him down. And Edison goes for the overclock here. Dallas, look, they get a bit of solo queue on. They just bust out all their ultimates there, but the Houston Outlaws were slowing them up. They need a break three. The Molasses holding him down.
Yeah, as Creative falls here near the end. So 4 minutes on the clock for the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel end up using all their ultimates to do so. I think if the Outlaws, you have to recognize that. You have Primal, you have Overclock, you're gonna have Death Blossom. You gotta play close. You gotta play close with this choke. It'll force some really tough fights.
And Merritt definitely someone to look to. Pelican as well, struggling to get involved in many of these fights. He's going to try and do it the old-fashioned way. A very direct approach, but he runs into Fielder, who swift steps back to safety. And somehow Dallas get Danteh on the back there. Pelican considers lingering a while longer, maybe trying to slow them down, maybe find a kill. Realizes that's unlikely here, and Dallas are allowed to break out of the choke mat.
Yeah, they've made Dante's life very difficult on this map. Time and time again, able to finish him off with whether it be a railgun shot and then some follow-up from Fearless or Sparkle. Is the payload going to go under the underpass?
Danteh being sent on a mission there by the looks of things, but Dallas have given up the high ground for now. Merritt not able to find connection, but Edison does again. He's outdoing his opposite number. Merritt needs to try to find a way to even the score right now, and there it is. Fielder is down. The Outlaws, don't forget, they lost their Reaper, their ability to stand on the cart and fight, being compromised, but Merritt is able to find Edison now. Fearless wants to pressure him away, but Merritt's got a lot of healing, and Dallas are likely to peter out here. Merritt saves the day.
When the shots matter, he comes up. I mean, that is big time there. You don't have your Reaper, you're able to pick up both those kills. So look how close the payload was to getting on home. As that was a Kitsune rush. You kinda dodged that with the Outlaws now. But the Outlaws, they had a support ult advantage for a lot of their offensive side. They were not able to capitalize on it. You know, let's see if they're able to do so here. Because the clock is dwindling, Mitch. I mean, this is doable.
2 minutes, it is doable. 2 long fights might almost be enough to account for that entire time bank. Making good use of these support ults will be crucial. Danteh a little bit low at the start of the fight. He needs to be tended to now. Chiyo has the sound barrier up. Dallas have some support ultimates here. They've got a lot of offensive tools as well. And Edison ain't a tool, he's an absolute weapon. Pelican once again falls flat. And the Outlaws are going to get absolutely kicked out of this map. That'll do it.
Dallas Fuel, 1 map away. Edison lights out the last 2 games.
Right here! Let's go!
And I think the Outlaws, for me, you got to get you got to get better value out of some of these support ultimates. You're just not getting the same amount of value that you're getting, you know, from your Kitsune Rush and sound barriers we're seeing on the other side with Fielder and Chiyo.